Cam Skattebo's road to the NFL draft has been a wild one. After putting up insane numbers in high school and leading his high school to a state title, Cam was still a zero-star recruit with only 2 collegiate offers. Now, he is viewed as one of the top running backs in the 2025 NFL draft class and looks primed to find a lot of success at the next level. This is a story of Cam Skattebo, from zero-star recruit to future NFL superstar. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know which player you want me to cover in the 2025 NFL Draft next in the comment section below. Cam Skattebo grew up in Rio Linda, California, just outside Sacramento. Growing up, he was always around the game of football. His father was a coach while his brother was a successful player going on to play college football at Bowling Green. Cam used to put his brother's helmet on and play football with him, and according to his mother, would put his shoulder pads on and run into telephone poles. When he was 2 years old, at his father's softball game, he climbed up a 14 or 16 foot chain link backstop to get a better view of his father's at bat. He was always the crazy kid who somehow found himself in an insane situation and magically was able to get out of them. When he was put in a car seat as a kid, he always figured a way out of it. Although Cam was younger, he always wanted to beat his older brother, but his older brother never went easy on him, and I don't think Cam would have wanted him to. His mother explained he would always compete with older kids, whether that was wrestling in the front yard or on the field. When he says he could do something, it's real hard not to believe that he could actually do it. Cam was always a great football player even at a young age. His high school coach explained, "I've known Cam since he was a little boy because I coached his older brother, so we've always heard about Cam coming up in our youth program. We'd go watch him. He was just a little ball of muscle. He had that little mohawk and it was just always fitting for his image." He started playing football at the age of 6 as a member of the Junior Knights program, impressing everyone from a young age, and they would track him all the way up until he got to high school. Cam attended Rio Linda High School, where he would go on to be a 3-year starter. During the spring practice going into his sophomore season, Cam impressed his high school coaches in a blocking drill that had players in no pads. His coach explained he was just not going to lose. If he got beat in any one-on-one drill, he was going again. "I came home and told my wife, this guy is way different than anybody we've ever had." He finished his sophomore year rushing for 992 yards and 9 touchdowns, but his junior year would be where he would break out as a superstar, rushing for 3,550 yards and 42 touchdowns, helping the Knights win the CIF 5A state title. In a 63-12 win over Casa Roble, he rushed for 313 yards and 7 touchdowns. During the opening series of the state title game, Skattebo had a 67-yard rushing touchdown where he broke 11 tackles. He finished with 396 yards and 3 touchdowns on 29 carries and a 38-35 win. While he was crushing it on the field, he was struggling in his personal life as his parents were going through a divorce during that time. His brother Leo explained, "My mom and dad had been together for about 20 years. That was hard. It was hard on Cameron. I was away at college. I lived in Ohio and had a son. I wasn't there to be the big brother for him. And at the most formative moments for him, he's 16 and everything around him is falling apart. Somehow on Friday nights, he was able to tune out all the emotional distress when he was falling apart on the inside and still be the best player in the state. A lot of kids can't handle that. That showed me this kid had something different than other kids have mentally. It's very easy to let that affect you and start lashing out at other people around you. He just didn't do that. He continued to be a leader." While his mother said, "When we split up, his coach was really instrumental in keeping him focused and letting him vent, giving him room when he needed it. I don't think we'll ever really know if it fueled him or if it almost derailed him." Even though he had an insane junior season, Cam did not earn any stars as a recruit, but he kept putting in the work. As a senior, Cam rushed for 1,650 yards and 18 touchdowns on the ground, while also rushing for 245 yards and a touchdown through the air. He rushed for 100 yards or more in 9 games and multiple scores in 6 games, with his best game of the season coming against Foothill High School, rushing for 287 yards on 12 carries. He finished his high school career as one of the most successful running backs ever in the Sacramento area, rushing for 6,192 yards and 69 touchdowns throughout his high school career, leading Rio Linda to a 29-8 record. Yet after finding so much success in the high school, Cam Skattebo was still a zero-star recruit, standing at 5'10" and weighing 200 pounds in the 2019 recruiting cycle. UCLA, USC, Utah, and Air Force all took visits with Cam, but they would all choose to pass on him. Cam told The Athletic, "I went to UCLA right after my junior year. They told me that I wasn't good enough for this level. Can't remember who I was sitting with at the time. It was Bruins running back coach Deshaun Foster's assistant. Bijan Robinson was in the facility, and that was their focus. They spelled my name wrong on my name tag. It was just an unofficial visit there. I was just sitting in the back hanging out, me and my father. It was a humbling experience." Cam was never too worried because he knew he had the talent and could always go the JUCO route if he needed, but he still hoped for the text to come in from someone, and that is when Troy Taylor came across his tape. Taylor, now the head coach at Stanford, was serving in the same role at Sacramento State from 2019 to 2022. Taylor was looking for a running back when he decided to put Cam's film on. He told The Athletic, "We were evaluating players. I couldn't really find anybody who said we should go on the kid. I put on the tape. You could see the anger when he ran, and the determination. I was 5 or 6 clips in and I said, we're taking this guy. I remember specifically that run where he broke 11 tackles in the state title game. I just couldn't believe that no one else would go on the kid. I'm not always right, but I decided on the spot. We were his only offer. Everybody missed on that one. Then he came to our camp and he was a kind of a prick when he competed. It was one-on-ones against the linebackers. He would win the rep and then get up and cut the line and take another rep. He just had that attitude that you don't want to compete against this kid. Just fell in love with him. Cam was so happy when he finally was offered by Sacramento State. He would also receive an offer from William & Mary, who would choose to stay close to home and become a Hornet. All Cam needed was a shot to prove how great of a player he was, but that would unfortunately have to wait as the 2020 season for Sacramento State would be canceled due to COVID-19. When the Hornets showed up for spring practice for the 2021 season, Cam came ready to go, impressing all his coaches. Malcolm Agnew, his running back coach, spoke on his performance saying, "It was practice number 6. This kid touches the ball probably around 10 times at practice, and he scored every time. And we had a pretty good defense. My favorite play was when we ran this middle screen with him. It was a poor throw, but the dude caught it with his left hand, like down towards where his knees are. And he played baseball, so he's really good at tracking the ball. Had the ability to make a guy miss as he was turning and catching it. Then he made another guy miss and scored. I said to our coaches, that is one of the best plays I have ever seen." He would play his first game against Idaho where he made everybody look like he was playing a level above them, as Idaho's head coach Jason Eck said it was like watching Jim Brown's highlights. Cam was impressing everyone, even the Sac State baseball coach, who wanted him to join their squad after Cam threw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. In Skattebo's first season at Sacramento State, he ran for 520 yards, averaging over 9 yards per carry and scoring 6 touchdowns. He had come into the season as a second-string running back, but when all-conference running back Elijah Dotson left the program mid-season, it opened up the door for Cam. Cam explained the situation, saying, "I just kept grinding and it ended up working out. He left and I took the role on. I had a couple of running backs next to me and behind me that were really good players. The fact that he left gave me a little more of an opportunity because he was also the vet in the room." But his 2022 season would be even more special as he finished with 1,900 all-purpose yards and was named the Big Sky Conference Offensive Player of the Year and second-team All-American. His 1,373 rushing yards were the 5th most in school history for a single season, and he had 8 100 rushing yard games, including 201 at Eastern Washington and 153 against Utah Tech. In 2 seasons at Sac State, he ranked 10th in career rushing yards, and his 7.48 yards per carry were the most in school history. They would finish the 2022 season 12-1, losing a heartbreaker to Incarnate Word 66-63 in the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs. A day after the game, Troy Taylor decided to take the Stanford head coaching job and brought along running back coach Malcolm Agnew. With those 2 major departures, Cam decided to enter the transfer portal. This time around, Cam was not an under-the-radar player as he would be ranked a 3-star transfer by 24/7 Sports. Then Arizona offensive coordinator Bo Baldwin would reach out to Taylor about Cam, with Taylor telling The Athletic, "Bo Baldwin called me. We're trying to figure out whether we should go on Scat. What do you think? I said, Bo, he's an incredible player. You guys would be crazy not to take him. Bull pulled the trigger. Arizona State was the only school Cam would take a visit to. The 2023 season would be rough for Arizona State, as they were in the middle of a massive rebuild under 32-year-old first-year head coach Kenny Dillingham. Cam would do everything for the team. He'd run for 788 yards, but also played some quarterback, completing 6 passes on 15 attempts for 150 yards and a touchdown. He averaged over 42 yards per punt. He lined up at wide receiver for another 100-plus snaps. He finished as a finalist for the Paul Hornung Award, which is given to the nation's most versatile player. Cam could have entered the NFL draft following the season or re-entered the transfer portal with how successful of a 2023 season he had personally, proving he was the real deal. Playing for a more competitive team would probably have boosted his draft stock. But Cam had developed a great relationship with Dillingham and believed in the rebuild that was going down in Tempe. That belief would pay off in 2024, as Cam not only became one of the nation's most premier running backs, but helped Arizona State turn things around faster than anyone would have thought. Heading into the season, Dillingham and Cam sat down and had a blunt conversation about what Cam needed to do differently if he wanted to reach his potential and be playing on Sundays. Cam listened and became a major leader in the team, taking the advice to heart. New offense coordinator Marcus Arroyo arrived saying, "I think former USC analyst Cliff Kingsbury was the first guy who told me about him, Cam." Cliff's like, "Dude, they got a back down there that is bananas. The little sawed-off white guy." Cam worked with the strength coach and nutrition team and went from 230 pounds to 218, which increased his speed and quickness. This past season, he was consistently hitting 20 miles per hour on GPS during games after topping out at 19 miles per hour in 2023. He was also able to dish out punishment and stayed durable while doing so, rarely coming off the field this year. He went for 262 yards against Mississippi State, 182 yards against Kansas, 158 yards against Utah, 153 yards against Oklahoma State, 147 yards against BYU, and 177 yards against Arizona. But in the Big 12 title game is where he showed out, rushing for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns, also having 38 receiving yards and a touchdown as Arizona State blew out Iowa State to win the conference title and earn a spot in the college football playoff. When the lights were brightest, Cam showed up against Texas running for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns, while also having 99 receiving yards and 42 passing yards, with a touchdown as the Sun Devils fell short in overtime to the Longhorns. Cam finished the season rushing for 1,711 yards and 21 touchdowns on the ground, and had 605 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns through the air. He finished 5th in the Heisman voting, was named first team All-Big 12, and outstanding player of the 2024 Big 12 championship game. He's viewed as one of the top running backs in the 2025 NFL Draft, projected to be a Day 2 pick by Bleacher Report and CBS Sports. It's been a crazy rise for Cam Skattebo, who was one of the best stories in this year's NFL Draft class. I cannot wait to see what he can do in the NFL. But what do you think? Where does Cam Skattebo get drafted this year? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.